Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really powerful mental model for getting our bearings in this complex world. It's called the Love Compass, and it suggests that even when things get confusing, we all have a true north we can turn to.
So let's just kick things off with a huge question, right? One that I think hits home for all of us, personally and as a society. With all the constant change and confusion out there, how do we actually find our direction? Well, the material we're digging into today offers up this really beautiful answer. It's a conceptual compass. The idea is that no matter what's going on, we have a fixed point, a true north, that can always guide our actions back toward what really matters, human flourishing. And that true north, it's love.
All right, so let's really get into it. To even begin to understand how this whole compass thing works, we've got to get super clear on our destination. We need to understand our true north.
So right off the bat, according to this framework, love is not just some, warm, fuzzy feeling. It's way deeper than that. It's framed as the fundamental, the absolute non-negotiable starting point for everything. It's like the operating system for human survival and the ultimate why behind building societies in the first place.
So what is this love we're talking about, really? Well, it's this massive, multi-layered idea. On one hand, it's a profound emotion, sure. But it's also a biological drive, hardwired into us to make sure our species survives. The source material calls it a relational nutrient, which I love, because it's essential for brain development, especially in kids. And at the end of the day, it's the social glue that makes it possible to pass well-being from one generation to the next.
And here's where it gets really practical. This isn't just abstract philosophy. We're talking about real, measurable health benefits. Living a life that's really anchored in love and connection. Science shows it's linked to things like lower blood pressure, a stronger immune system, you even heal faster. It literally helps us thrive.
Okay, so we've established love as our fixed true north. But a compass has other directions, right? So let's see what happens when we start to explore these other paths, all branching out from that central point.
First up, heading east, we find wisdom. And in this model, wisdom isn't just about book smarts. It's about how you apply what you know through the filter of love. The example of discipline is perfect here. The root of the word discipline is actually to teach. So when it's guided by love, discipline completely shifts from being about punishment to being this vital act of teaching and guidance that helps kids develop self-control.
All right, now let's swing south on the compass to power. And this is so important. When power is guided by love, it's not about being dominant. It's about empowering people and creating good for everyone. This chart is the perfect real-world example. When we invest in things like early childhood development, which is a total act of love-directed power, the payoff is just incredible. For every single dollar you put in, society gets back somewhere between $6 and $17. That's the tangible result of using power to lift people up.
And to complete our compass, we head west, to justice. When justice is filtered through love, it's not some cold, blindfolded process. It's about compassionately fixing what's broken. Think about things like restorative justice, where the goal isn't just to punish, but to actually repair the harm that's been done. That's the whole idea here, creating a society where fairness and dignity are for everyone. Okay, so that's the ideal, right? That's how the compass is supposed to work. But what happens when we lose our way? What happens when that compass breaks?
And this is where things get really, really dangerous. You take power, that southern point, and you disconnect it from love, well, it rots. It decays into its total opposite, tyranny. It stops being about nurturing and becomes all about raw dominance and control, actively squashing human well-being.
And the source material paints a pretty terrifying picture of where this could lead. Imagine a society that's just obsessed with efficiency, where human values, joy, art, friendship, are just seen as a waste of time and are literally engineered out of our lives. It's a super stark warning of what happens when your compass is broken.
So this toxic mix, this unjust power, it pulls us off the main path and into this in-between space, the Southwest, which this model calls wrath. And wrath here isn't just about being mad. It's this destructive, vicious cycle of pain that gets passed down from generation to generation when love is gone. It shows up as trauma, as conflict, as a society that's just fragmenting.
But, and this is key, the model doesn't just leave us there in that dark place. It actually points to a way back. It shows us how to course correct, how to fix our compass when we've gone astray.
The path back is through something the source calls poetic justice. And what that means is consciously, intentionally building a virtuous cycle. It's literally the positive mirror image of all that trauma we just talked about.
It means actively showing up with care and kindness, stepping in to steer things back towards human values, and fostering resilience, all of which creates these compounding benefits for the future.
So here's the bottom line, the most crucial point of this whole thing. The love compass isn't a one-and-done deal. It's not a destination you just arrive at. It's this active, constant commitment to checking your bearings, to recentering yourself, and making sure that whatever you're doing, you're always pointing toward that true north.
And that's what brings this massive idea all the way from the societal level right down to us personally. Because this compass isn't just for governments or big organizations, it's a tool for you and me in our day-to-day lives. Which really leaves us with one last question to chew on. When you look at your own life, your own choices, what's one small thing you can do today to point your compass north?